Hi, everyone. Welcome to this amazing fireside chat, which talks about connected enterprises and the worlds of possibilities. It is really a topic which is very, very topical in nature because we have seen organizations pivot and connect their front, middle, and back office as they have never done in past. With me today, I've got three amazing friends, Sundi from Airtel Business. We've got Amol from Ring Plus Aqua, and we've got Manish from MG Motors. Welcome, friends. So, as a preparation to this, I had sent an email to all of you saying that this is a topic which needs no introduction from any of you because you guys live, breathe, and do this day in, day out. Sundi, first of all, a big congratulations to Airtel for really topping the charts in the latest FNS report on being the 5G player of choice, on being the IoT and connected player of choice in a country like India. Manish, a big congratulations on the first AI car. It'll be very interesting to hear from you on how you're going about dealing with it. And Amol, I haven't heard the media bites, but I'm going to give it to you as to what could be the reason for your, how you are doing the connected enterprise, but as we move around the space. So maybe, Sundi, maybe let me start with you. When somebody like Airtel talks about connected enterprise, when you go to your customers, what do you mean when you because you are a connectivity player? So what does connected enterprise mean from an Airtel lens?
Yeah, see, Aditya, first of all, thanks for inviting. Pleasure to be here with two distinguished gentlemen along with me, Manish and Amol. To answer your question, what is the enterprise goal? If you look at what they're trying to achieve, it's only two things, right? You grow revenue and reduce cost, right? Those things. And they are now looking to digital transformation as a tool to do that. They want to be more digital. And for that, they're trying to create the experience that they want to give through the digital channel. And when you look at that, the bedrock for digital transformation is connectivity. If you look at anything you want to do, you have to connect your back offices. And then if you want to drive even more efficiencies in terms of what is happening in the real world, you'll put sensors and try to create the mirrored world of the real world to understand what is happening there to actually improve the efficiency of those machines that you're working with in the case of industrial. In all of these pieces, connectivity plays a very key role, and we have been providing connectivity for various different purposes. Consumer connectivity, we have been doing back office connectivity. As you think about what is happening in the world in terms of digital transformation, especially in the Internet of Things, there are very unique requirements that the enterprises have in terms of how they want to approach digital transformation. So when you think about that, if you take an example of manufacturing or even the case of automotive, there are unique requirements around connectivity. They want ultra low latency, right? They want the data to be coming real time so that their decisions can be made faster. They want very high capacity, right? So if you want to really measure every aspect of a physical object, you probably have to have different sensors being added so that more data can be carried to create a more accurate picture of the physical world. So more capacity is needed. And finally, high reliability. Some of these applications that they want to develop are mission critical. So the reliability has to be 5 nines. So for doing all of these different requirements that we are seeing, we are investing in the 5G technology. We have been in leaders in 4G. We're also working on NB-IoT, right? This range of different technologies will allow enterprises to leverage and achieve their goals around digital transformation, digital power of IoT. That's what we're working on.
So, Sundi, it may not be wrong to say that it's Airtel's digital transformation story is on steroids. It's literally. Amol, if I have to pivot to you, how do you see this whole space which Sundi just elaborated? You have connectivity, you have sensors, you then have the great technologies of the next generation technologies coming in. How real is it from your lens? Amol, you unmute yourself.
Yeah. See, basically, if you talk about the Ring Plus Aqua, so we are into the auto components segment. So basically, for us, it's very important about the reliability of the product, which goes with the component. And for that reliability, it's very important to have the real-time information about each and every processes that we do, and mainly from the traceability perspective of the component. So if you talk about the Ring Plus Aqua for us, the adoption talks starts from the Industry 4.0, wherein we try to do mainly from a machine learning point of view, wherein we can get the feedbacks from the critical process parameters which are really linked to the reliability of the product, and how these are varying with respect to the time, and then how we can put some alerts and uh, something into the system which can give us a proper feedback. And the same at the same time, the important parameter is artificial intelligence to the machine. So the machine himself after some time should start talking to the operator that let's wait, we have to do something different rather than doing what you are doing. So that's the area where we are now trying to do this adaptation, and we are working so closely with many of the people for this forum.
Absolutely. Manish, you have not stopped at just bringing in technology in under the hood. You have started indulging with technology with me as a consumer. So while Amol mentions a lot of reliability that is going under the hood, and Sundi mentions that the sensors are there, you've beautifully given it a shape, a form, a form factor, if I would use some jargon here. What's MG's story when you really position yourself under the hood of connected enterprise?
So, honestly, I mean, when we started our journey here we started by evaluating MNOs in the market. Okay. And 4 years back, nobody was probably even talking about IoT 4.0. Okay. So we said, and again, this is after evaluation, we said Airtel is the partner that we need to be with. And that's what we did. Okay. The unfortunate part that we as MG did was we started to climb down the ladder. So we wanted our product actually to be connected, and then our machineries to be connected. Okay. And there is a story behind that also. We inherited a very old plant. Okay. Obviously, we refurbished a lot of things inside, but given the time that we were in, we obviously could not scrap entire machinery inside, I would say, and then bring in new equipments which were capable of IoT 4.0 or having sensors which could provide us enough intelligence. But again, I mean, as I said, we are working top down now. So we wanted to be the first ones to be in the arena of a connected environment, and specifically from a vehicle perspective. And that's where we found that we would be a differentiator. Everybody talks about 4.0 from an industry perspective, but nobody talks it from a product perspective. So we thought, let's have it on our vehicle first. And that's where we had Airtel with us. And to be very honest with you, neither did we have any experience, nor was Airtel at that point of time geared up, right? And this is actually not the plastic SIMs that we normally talk about. This is T-box communications within the vehicle, the eSIM soldered on them and things like that. But having taken that dive, we came out very clean. I will be very honest with you. We came out very clean as a partnership, and we continue to do so with multiple products that we have launched. I'm glad to say, I mean, we have also initiated discussions with Airtel at a very high level to see, again, I mean, we are coming from top down. How can we be the first OEM from a product perspective to be having 5G in our vehicle? Okay.
Brilliant. Manish, we'll just stay with you because you brought out a very important point of collaboration. And in your case, it was Airtel. And before I kind of go back to Sundi on this point, this whole area of digital transformation or disruption is can't be done alone. You need critical partnerships, you need collaboration, you need a lot of ducks to be in line for you to really create a world-class product with Amol's predictability and the quality of product that we're talking. What could be some of the qualities or capabilities that a collaboration platform like yours needs to have for two partners to be successful? Because I think that's one of the biggest pivotal problems that we might face in a country like ours, where we have a lot of individuals who are doing great jobs. When we collaborate, what could come out may not be the world class. So this is a great example which he has given. So I just want our listeners to understand what capabilities and qualities did you guys bring to the table to really make it a world class collaboration now.
So again, I mean, as I said, we launched the product 4 years back, the first product, which was the connected product, right? Again, I'm very thankful at that time we did not have this kind of a situation where we have pandemics, waves coming in and going again and again, right? So at that point in time, I think the collaboration was more on a face-to-face basis, understanding the requirements, defining it very clearly. Yes, there will be black holes as you progress. Okay, so nothing is frozen. There is no framework. That is when we started our partnership with Airtel. I mean, the agreement or the kind of collaborations that we had is let's start the journey. Let's take a dive into it. We will mitigate problems. Okay, I mean, we had the backing of our home rules back where the connected programs are being run. Obviously, they also had a lot of inputs for us as a country and for Airtel as well. We provided a lot of inputs again from I would say a connectivity challenge. You know, we do have challenges. Let's be very honest with each other by saying that compared to the developed countries, we do have challenges in India. Okay, as far as connectivity matters, right? So that was the first stepping stone of collaboration. Okay, and we did not stop there. We continued to build upon it. So at the time of pandemic, we evaluated again different solutions that we can bring together from a manufacturing perspective. You know, I mean, how well can I monitor my resources who are coming in, going out of the plant? How well can I monitor in the current stage? How well can I monitor which of my staffs are vaccinated, not vaccinated? All those things put together. We still are continuing this journey with the multiple suppliers, and Airtel being one of them. You know, in the forefront.
Sundi, let me just pivot this to something from your side, because you are providing these services to millions of customers, SMB, large enterprises like those of Manish's or Amol's. Sundi, and this is a constant changing requirement. The 18 months of pandemic has again accelerated adoption of digital technologies. How do you recalibrate this? How do you see these ICT players, and you also have your ecosystem providers? So how do you see them connecting with your purpose and your objective? And how do you see this collaboration working out for you guys?
Yeah, Aditya, I would say that collaboration is working out very well. See, on every one of ICT players, they all work for customers. So the common central piece here is the customer. In this case, it might be MG Motors. They are saying that, hey, for me to solve my problems for my customers, I need this kind of a technology intervention or this kind of a product to be built. So once you have a party like a customer in the room, things become very easy for people to collaborate because there's a common goal to solve the problem. So in the case of working with collaborating with other telecom operators, we are trying to solve some problems right now in the connectivity space, specifically around IoT only, which is how do you get OEMs, and it can be an OEM like MG Motors here, who are manufacturing their cars in one area, one geography in the world, and shipping it to another geography. And how does, when the car lands in a new country or a new geography, it's connected seamlessly, right? It's like a global connectivity. This requires collaboration between the ICT players, like other telecom operators, right? So we are forging that path right now with operators around globally, where the object or the product can be built anywhere and stays connected wherever it's getting sold. So it can be manufactured in one part of the world, it's sold to another region, but it's getting connected. So for this, it requires collaboration between multiple parties, the telecom operators coming together to solve this problem for MG Motor in this case, right? So collaboration is happening very well. because we have a common goal of solving customer problems. So I don't see any challenges there. So it's been great.
Absolutely, Sundi. So I think great learning class for anybody who's listening, that if you can have two large brands work on a common objective, what Manish and Sundi kind of put it, and even competitors can collaborate. But Amol, I'm going to go a little bit deeper and double click this. How do you make the choices of the latest technologies? How do you know that you go to bet on some of these? Because many a times clients come back and ask us that, do compare between the likes and likes. And when you're connecting the front, middle, and back offices of any technology to create a connected enterprise, and then you are going to the customer to say that you are completely end-to-end digital product, the choices are going to be important. So, Amol, you mentioned a lot in your first segment. I just want you to maybe double click that. How do you make the choices? What are your design principles? How close do you get to the futuristic technology, and thereby also taking a risk, which Manish mentioned? You were risking something because they were going down and up the valley of unknowns. So, Amol, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, see, actually, I just agree to the Manish what he said. Basically, it's a time where we have to get started somewhere. That was the area where we also came up when we started discussion about Industry 4.0. So everything was new for everyone. At the same time, so what is important for any organization is to have a proper architect which talks about the areas which needs to be covered when they talk about the digitization. So digitization can be done anywhere, but what are the areas which, as you earlier said, that there are two parameters: one is a top line growth and the second one is a reducing the cost at the bottom. So that gives the profitability. So within this, which are the areas which needs to be covered up during the digitization? So for us, the first milestone that we did is the first we made a complete roadmap, and we divided our segments into, like, first one is a product, a process, and production monitoring system, wherein we tried to monitor the performance of the machine with respect to the given output conditions and the productivity. The second architect we had is the energy monitoring system, wherein the most important parameter of the cost is comes is the power cost within and the industries. So that is a very important to have a proper analysis about the energy, and wherein the role of Airtel comes with the Ring Plus Aqua Limited, the collaboration. So actually, to be very frank with you, the initially when the Airtel name come to me, I little bit surprised because it comes from all telecommunication industry. I said what it is. So then we got into the much deeper. Then we had a lot of demos and the sessions, and then we really understand that it's a completely end-to-end solution which has been offered by Airtel. So we got with them for the energy monitoring system, and recently we gone live for our one of the plant wherein almost the entire all energy meters has been connected through the GSM technologies, and sitting on my desk I can say which power panel is running at what capacity. And this gives me benefits of real-time analysis. This gives me the benefit of database discussions rather than the perception based or the post-mortem which earlier we used to have. So these are the very broader picture which industry can look upon, and then there are many segments wherein we can connect it with the Airtel, because the Airtel has a complete end-to-end solution which talks from the internet connectivity, which starts from the hardware connectivity, and then the complete web-based application which can give us a complete dashboard analysis which can be given at various stages. So that's how we are now working towards the different architects. And now the next segments that we are trying to work with Airtel is our operational management, which we talks about the product process and the productivity performance management.
No, I think great point, Amol, in terms of architecting it and decoupling the complex. Manish, let's move the needle to a little bit onto adoption, to service in your case, to people like you and me. You are experimenting with a product which is heavily on tech. Many times there is an anxiety that the customer is not ready. We hear that in a country like ours, we may not be ready. There's too much of tech. There's a price point at which the customer may not come. When they come in on service, they might have broken the panel. You have a huge screen inside the car, and your front office thereby on service excellence or sales. Sales has already sold it, but service would have a major issue. How do you pivot this, and how do you drive this thinking to be able to take this to the next level?
So, I mean, basically, Aditya, I compare the tech inside the vehicle same way as I have a cell phone in my hand. Okay. Whenever I buy a new cell phone, I'm learning, right? A similar thing happens to a customer when you provide him a product which has technology inside, and specifically it's connected car, right? So, no matter how much you educate a customer, at the point of sale where he's taking the delivery of the vehicle, you explain him 10 or 100 features, he's going to remember only 3 or 4 core features. Okay. And then the customer actually starts to get inside the product and the technology and understand more. So, I mean, it's a learning curve. I would honestly say it's a learning curve. Just like we had, right? I mean, we and Airtel had a learning curve. The customer also will have a learning curve. Okay. So that's one part of it. Now, coming to the serviceability, I think we have a rugged enough of a vehicle, and if it is specifically to the screen, uh, yeah, it's rugged enough. I mean, we honestly we haven't had cases where customers have come back and say it's broken and can you replace it, right?
Manish, if
So
I interrupt you, Manish, if I interrupt you in this fireside chat, I just want to maybe go a little bit deeper on one angle, which has been I've been looking on some of the notes that I prepared today, is on the data part, right? You collect so much of data. How do you ensure the data remains secure? And then maybe then Sundi, I'll get you in here, because I think one of the biggest pieces is that there's so much of data that is getting moved around between you, the end customer, the car, the telematics, and there is so much of, and you now you have AI. How did you architect this in the first place? How secure should I feel as a user that my data is absolutely secure with MG or whosoever you are working?
So great point, Aditya. Obviously, I mean, when we architected the solution, right, along with Airtel again and our home rooms, it was very clear, okay, uh, that the data that is getting sucked out of the vehicle, traveling on a MNO's network, which is Airtel in our case, landing up in our cloud environment, which is within India, has to be completely secure. Okay, that was the first criteria also, and an important one, very important one, because I mean, I mean, in India we do not have that. Uh, I would say we just have a framework or a guideline on privacy, data leakages, and things like that, right? We don't have something which is in concrete somebody needs to follow, right? We topped it up and we continue to do that by engaging with third parties and asking them to audit our vehicles, right? I mean, uh, to the extent that, hey, go hack my vehicle and see where can I improve, okay? Not just from application layer, but also from a cell phone where my mobile application sits to the vehicle itself, right? Can I remotely at least unlock and start the vehicle? That's critical enough, right? So we do engage with that. Now let me come to the data layer, right? So we haven't had, and touch wood, we haven't had any cases yet. Okay, and again, thanks to the secured environment that has been provided to us by Airtel as a network provider, everything lands up safely. Okay, once delivered, again, it becomes my responsibility to own it and preserve it. Okay, uh, and we collect data again more so from a customer perspective as to his driving behavior, trip details, geolocations, and take it on the backbone of Airtel into my cloud environment. Aditya.
Brilliant. Sundi, now coming to you, you are a service provider of this very critical component of data. You have not just MG or Amol, but you have millions of customer data on your retail side. Almost 1/3 of India is connected to you, or a little bit more. And then you have enterprises, which is there. And when we talk of a connected enterprise, it is actually connecting at the data level, right? Apart from the machine to machine piece, which will come. Sundi, what's the Airtel's positioning when it comes to what's the thinking that when it comes to creating a disruptive technology, and how do you look at data and data security?
Yeah, so being, as you called out, we are already we serve like 300 million plus consumers on our network. So data privacy is a very key part of our offering. Uh, so when we think about data, usually telecom operators, the security of the data is actually built in natively, not bolted on. So there's a very big difference between how telecom operators' networks are architected. They're natively architected for secure handling of data. So if you look at our whole core infrastructure that we have, we go to lengths to ensure that no attack can happen, and we follow like to the dot everything that is written in a book in terms of how do we do secure architecture and deployments. In the case of I'll just take an example here of what we did with MG Motors in terms of security, and the same kind of principles we apply for many other enterprises or scenarios we work with. So they had a unique requirement of, hey, I need to basically allow infotainment in the car. At the same time, I need to actually pick the car health information and few other data points which are very IP protected, privacy of the consumer and all that. So they were also very worried about the privacy of the consumer should be preserved, similarly to us. So we actually architected a solution here in collaboration with them. So again, the point of collaboration works here again, which is how do you ensure what you call public internet data to come into the car, which is the music and all that, and how do you ensure that data can be sent from the device back to their cloud in a completely secure manner. So we actually had two bearer streams here. We actually architected in a way that the car sends out the public data through a public cloud, whereas the private data is going through another route. So right from the device, we actually have secured the thing by sending the data to a private dedicated network that goes into the data center in a private fashion. Nobody can see the data. It's all privately done. So the secure data is secure. Public data is public data. So this allows them to give the experience they want to give to the end consumer. Peace of mind that the data is secure, but at the same time they get the entertainment value, like which is the infotainment package they provide.
No, absolutely. Brilliant example. Amol, maybe we'll move this a little bit forward. Amol, what's the future looking like for you? We've talked of data security, we've talked of re-architecting it, we've talked of decoupling it, we've talked of collaboration. But if you talk of a connected organization, and how are you looking at the future? What kind of technologies are going to make real disruptions in the next 18 to 36 months horizon? I'm not looking beyond that. Hopefully, COVID is behind us. We are able to live with it.
Definitely, we look Industry 4.0 itself as a disruptive technology for the industry. If you see, the entire data is now coming real time. And if you see the older ways of handling the operations, so the person who was preparing a data, he always had a chance to play with the data. And we always had a doubt at what exactly the data is coming, whether it is reliable one or whether it is not reliable one. So now the most important thing is happening is that the entire data is coming real time to at whatever levels we want. So there is absolutely an transparency within a system, and we get a clear picture about what exactly. So that brings in more complexity when we are managing a shop floor people. So we find some resistance and the concurrent mindset of the conventional mindset, like what is happening now, how you are understanding everything, how you are saying that these are the losses are happening, how you are bringing top to down to solve the problems. So that is what is one of the disruptive technologies which we find as the industry 4.0 is bringing to the manufacturing industry, especially for the component manufacturers like us, where the profitability margins are quite less, and we have to work a day in day out for saving a single penny, wherein the operational efficiencies are mattering to us. So that's what we had a goal to now to make the complete one of our unit in Nasik, which is completely digital factory, and we want to become it a completely paperless factory. That's the area where we are now working with along with Airtel very closely, and they are also supporting us at various sectors. And if you talk about the second disruption, definitely for the auto industry is coming is the EV, that is electric vehicle, which is coming in the future. And all component manufacturers are right now under the impression that what will happen in next 4-5 years that no one knows, and everyone is right now, from including us, we are trying to do the diversification of the products which can give us to some compatibility with the electrical vehicles. So for us, I would say the next level is becoming more mechatronics than only a mechanical industry. So now the more focus is bringing towards an electronics, which were earlier more on an the machineries, the mechanical, the process. Now more focus is bringing now towards the electronics, as the people are now seeing the strength of this data capturing and the amount of agility that bringing to the manufacturing industry, the flexibility. So that's what I feel the next years are coming to be very challenging for the auto industries in terms of all these technologies. But definitely with this and the players like Airtel can give us too much of support to really cover all these roadmaps and come to a certain level where we can convert these problems into the opportunity and the improvements.
Perfect. Manish, what's the future going to look like? You got an AI, you've got a screen. You are you going to take me home, or are you going to catapult me through some Star Trek mode? What's the latest connected piece which is going to come in the next 18 to 36 months? You already got an EV version, by the way, so you have already taken a checkbox there.
Let me just take a step back on what Amol was saying, right? I mean, yes, and I had a privilege of actually sitting in one of a supplier collaboration between us and suppliers that we have, and then we were talking specifically about EV, their concerns. I mean, the take I could get out of it, right? I mean, there is an ample opportunity for a supplier, an OEM supplier, even if it comes to EV. Okay, there are things which I know are not made in India yet locally. We would like to do that, because the more localized product you have, the better it is for us and the supplier, right? Both from a margin, product profitability perspective. So, I mean, my one takeaway from that was there are a horizon of opportunities. I mean, we still do not have the infrastructure to even manufacture the batteries in India, right? I mean, I've just heard that somebody is willing to start something, not yet concrete, right? Now, taking on your question, Aditya, and again, I mean, I'll take a couple of steps back, right? When we jumped into this automobile market of India, we were quite new, okay? And we have established players. I mean, you can name Hyundai, Toyota, Honda, Tata, Maruti. I mean, they are there. Again, I mean, we sat down with a blank sheet of paper and said, what is it that these guys offer which we can better it, right? So obviously, one of the aspect was connected vehicle, and then the partnership with Airtel that we talked about. And again, we did not stop at that, because we know had it not been us, it would have been someone else, and we would have to keep on bettering that, right? We have followers now. Other OEMs come with the same thing, but I'm sure we are a notch ahead of that. Next, with connected, we came up with ADAS, okay, on our next vehicle. And again, ADAS was level 1, but was not being offered in that segment. With the new one that we are coming out with, again, it's connected plus ADAS and more, which is AI. Okay. So, I mean, again,
Manish, but you're not telling me the secret sauce. What's after that? You're still not telling us the answer.
I'm coming to that, Aditya. So, AI was there, wasn't there, we are bringing it in. Okay. What more, right? Well, eventual goal is we want to set up the vehicle as a platform. Okay. And when I say that as a platform, is not just connectivity is the most critical part, but a host of applications that we might be able to provide to the consumer. And again, there is a norm that you have to follow from a dot-right perspective, which is the way that we need to move in. You know, our telecom market is not as open as Europe or the US, right, where you can do anything and everything on a vehicle. So when we talk about car as a platform, we want to innovate within the applications that we have. Okay. Secondly, we want to try and see, and again, this is something that is an adaptation from the developed markets, that how can we package it for a consumer? Okay. In the initial conversations, you said everything comes with a cost, right?
Yes.
So we would like to break that platform with features and a price attached to it, which can be affordable. To me, if you ask me, Manish, would you like a standard package? Based on my usage, I can see standard, medium, or a premium package, right? Premium is a whole lot of connected stuff and the platform. Medium, something that I might use it, or standard, hey, I'm old, I can live with it, right? And we want to try and bring it to the next platform, which is the payment, okay? And monetize it well. I mean, we want our partners to profit with us. We want our partners to be online with us when it comes to, let's say, renewal of a service. Let's assume that I'm consuming more and more data today, but I have a cap. Again, okay, every consumer has a cap on his data. I mean, it's not a free flow, just like your cell phones, right? Can I charge? I mean, can I renew my data on a fly, right? So that's where we want to bring in the convenience.
Lovely, because Manish, I think beautifully you've moved from what I call is machine to machine to almost to hyper personalization. I think great journey there. Sundi, I'm going to conclude this with you, but without asking this question, I would not do justice to being a consultant. 5G is around the corner, Sundi. You guys are at the forefront of making all the connects around. What is future for you, if you can double click for us?
See, the future for us is where our customers ask us to go. That's a starting point, right? So if you look at some of these stuff Manish is talking about, where they want to take the connected car, our investments will go towards that. Or what Amol is talking about, hey, we want to have a completely automated factory floor. So we have done that with one of our partners like Nokia in their Chennai factory. It's completely automated, right down to the inventory too. We want to, for us, the future would be, in terms of connectivity, would be 5G. That's where our investments are going in, because of the reasons I called out earlier also. Ultra low latency, high reliability, and very high capacity to solve some of the manufacturing use cases. So you look at manufacturing as a vertical, we truly believe that 5G will cause the Uberization of that whole vertical. Applications that never existed will be built because of this unlocking of ultra low latency, very high reliability network from 5G, right? All applications will be improved upon. So we believe strongly about this, both automotive or the entire manufacturing vertical, the ability for them to transform. And that's where one of the major areas of focus is, how to bring 5G into that whole play and do it. So that's basically where we are looking to take the industry or work with the industry.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Sundi, Amol, Manish. You guys have been absolutely wonderful, sharing a lot of insights for all our listeners and viewers who tune in to this. This cannot be any better example of collaboration, of taking risks, which is shared risks, but keeping very central the core purpose of what's happening at the essence, which is a brand which is obsessed with customer, which is Airtel. A brand which wants to give customer high-end, quality of vehicles which never existed in the market, and a brand which actually talks of reliability under the hood that the customers can trust. So I think great to having all of you. Thank you so much for all your time and as well as the insights that you've shared. Absolutely a pleasure having you. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amol. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.